Everywhere I look, I see gambling advertisements. You are now 30% more likely to have a gambling addiction than you were to have one just 3 years ago in the United States. This directly correlates to the legalization of sports betting in 37 different states since 2018 when New Jersey did it. I think that we're in the very beginning phases of gambling advertising in the country. My name is Rob, and I'm a recovering compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then, I've made it my personal mission to talk about what's working for me in my recovery online in hopes that you'll be able to get into recovery faster than I did. If you want to leave the chaos of a life fueled by gambling addiction behind, smash that subscribe button and stay up to date on the videos that I'm putting out here, as that's exactly what I'm seeking to help you do. It's no secret that gambling ads have become pervasive in our society, bombarding us on major television networks all the way to billboards on highways.
Go in for a walk until I see a gambling advertisement. They're everywhere. Literally everywhere you look.
In this video, we're going to explore the prevalence of these ads, their impact on vulnerable people, and the concerning link to gambling addiction. The gambling industry has invested heavily in advertising, taking advantage of various media platforms to promote their products and services. We see gambling commercials during sports events, on social media, and even on public transportation. The reach of these ads is vast, making them almost impossible to avoid. Now, with the advancement of technology, the gambling industry has also embraced online advertising, targeting people directly through personalized ads via email. If you've ever gambled before online, I'm sure you've seen the emails telling you that you're a superstar, you're a great gambler, and even offering you a few dollars of free play or match bets. Everything is carefully crafted to keep you coming back to the bet. Did you know that gambling addicts make up between 60 and 80% of all casino profits? There's a very clear reason why they want us to come back. While these ads might seem harmless to people who aren't addicted to gambling, they can have a really profound impact, especially on vulnerable people and impressionable populations. Research has shown that children and young adults are exposed to an alarming number of gambling ads. This exposure normalizes gambling and may lead to increased interest and participation among young audiences. And as we know, the younger you start to gamble, the more likely it is that you're going to get addicted to gambling. It's estimated that between 2 and 7% of people who started gambling under the legal age will become gambling addicts, while only 1% of adults who start legally will get hooked. Additionally, people who are already struggling with gambling addiction can find these ads triggering, and that makes it even more challenging for them to resist the urge to gamble. I know a lot of people who could see a sign on the street or get a free offer in their email and really struggle to pass up on it, especially with the ease of access that the internet provides in cashing in on those offers. The problem isn't the initial bet. It's not the initial free play. It's not the initial match bet. It's what happens after that. And for gambling addicts, it always ends in financial and emotional ruin eventually, as we never have an off switch and no win is ever big enough to get us to stop. The widespread presence of gambling ads has led to several negative consequences. One of the most concerning is this huge rise we're seeing in gambling addiction. Studies have found a direct correlation between the frequency of gambling advertisements and the prevalence of gambling addiction. The constant exposure, constant over and over bombardment of ads creates an environment where gambling becomes normalized and it's perceived as a regular part of life, whereas just a few years ago it was happening on the outskirts of society. It feels like within the next few years we're going to see a really large group of people getting addicted to gambling, and there's little to no control over the types of advertisements that are currently going out. I believe it will very closely mirror the trends from big tobacco, and we're going to eventually see it go down, but we're very early on. Furthermore, the promise of easy winnings and exciting experiences that's portrayed in these ads often overshadows the potential risks and consequences that it brings. Casinos aren't selling you the reality of gambling. They're selling you a dream that's going to get you in the door, dropping your savings on a chance to live that life for just a few minutes. So, what can we do to protect vulnerable populations from the negative influences of gambling ads? Implementing stricter regulations on gambling advertising will eventually become crucial. Limiting the timing and frequency of these ads can help to reduce their impact on young audiences. In the UK, they've taken gambling ads off the front of sports jerseys. That's something we won't see in the United States for a while. It's also essential for parents, teachers, and caregivers to educate their children about what will happen if they let gambling go too far in their lives. Financial, emotional, and mental suffering. As consumers, we have the power to demand responsible advertising practices from the gambling industry. So supporting and patronizing companies that aren't shoving a false dream down your throat will send a message to the industry that we value the transparency and the protection of vulnerable people. However, seeing that none of them are doing this right now, this is going to be a difficult challenge to undertake. Everyone's selling the fake dream. It's something to keep in mind, though, as time goes on and the companies start to get called out on the false dreams that they are selling. Additionally, urging governments and regulatory bodies to enforce stricter guidelines on gambling advertising can help to create a safer environment for everyone. I'm going to be working with some groups to accomplish just that, and I'm going to be keeping you informed as to what those groups are and what our messaging will be in future videos that I put out here on my channel. We have to strive to create a society where gambling advertisements don't exploit vulnerable people, especially our youth. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from what we talk about here. Let's start a conversation on this critical issue. As always, your comments and suggestions are welcome down in the comment section below, as they always factor into the videos that I create. As time goes on, I truly believe that we'll start to see some controls on the advertising, but for now, stay aware, know when the casinos are lying to you, and keep taking things on logically, one day at a time.